wondering what ways you've seen Garrison grow in your 3 years being on the team with him.
Felt like just he's more of a leader now. He's willing to take on that role of, being the guy. Even though we have a lot of, horsepower on this team, I feel like he's willing to take the blame, step up, for everyone else slacking kind of thing. Just his leadership is just made a huge jump since I've been here.
You'll follow up, CL? There's only a couple hands raised. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So can you kind of describe what he's like in the locker room in terms of a presence? It seems from the outside looking in that he can be kind of he can bring levity to situations and it's not all serious.
Yeah. As you see on like the Biggs camera, like on social media stuff, he's just always joking around. It's just like off the court, he's just, fun guy. He's just, joking around a lot. He's like a big kid, and on the court, he's, serious. So when he steps between the lines, he's just, cutthroat kind of thing. And outside, he's just one big kid. So.
Brendan?
Hey, Leaky. We were talking to Roy a little bit earlier. Mark Williams at Duke has been playing a lot more minutes for them of late, and that sort of changes the things that you guys can do offensively. Well, how, in your mind, does that change things for you? Is it attacking the lane less? Is it getting the bigs ball in different positions? What are sort of the new focuses with him sort of emerging as a shot blocker for them?
I don't think anything changes. Shot blocker in the game or not, we want to get the ball to the bigs, get as many people in foul trouble as possible. They obviously shoot a higher rate than us guards right now. And so the best thing we'd do is get them the ball inside and let them, go to work. So I don't think anything changes.
Tom Shanahan?
Hey, Leaky, from the outside, it's not the usual Duke, North Carolina game for a title or a number one seed. Can you tell us how the players view the game?
What was the question?
From the outside, it's not for a title or a number one seed, but it's still Duke, North Carolina. How do the players see it?
It's just like another big game. They know it's Duke, Carolina, regardless, unranked or not. And, everyone's going to be tuned in, I'm pretty sure. So you always want to play your best. It's always an audition. Somebody new might be watching. You never know. So let's go out and play hard. They know what's at stake here.
Adam Smith?
Leaky, when you were talking about Garrison, you mentioned him being willing to step up and take the blame sometimes. Like, what's the level there of acceptance of what he's willing to bear the brunt of?
Can't really get into that, but I feel like in practice or in a game, somebody misses a defensive assignment, G's willing to, do a little bit of extra on the defensive end to make up for whoever's slacking and that kind of thing. That's what I mean by that.
I just didn't know if you meant, it seemed like maybe in December, Roy, when he talked about changing the starting lineup after state for some of the first state game, for some of the defensive assignments that weren't great, he made it seem like, I don't know, like Garrison might have volunteered to be taken out of the lineup. I don't know if I heard that wrong or right.
I'm not too sure on what happened there.
I think what he said was that after the first game when he, Leaky, and Caleb did not start against NC State, Coach was going to put Leaky and Garrison both back into the starting lineup, but G didn't want to have the freshman be the only one that didn't. So he said, Coach, I'm fine with not starting too. That's what he was talking about.
Oh, well.
Didn't even know that, did you, Leaky?
Yeah.
Huh?
Didn't know that. Yeah. See, that's
Andrew Jones.
Garrison is.
Leaky, we have heard stories from some of the guys the last couple of years about Garrison's subtle sense of humor. Is there something in his subtle sense of humor that regularly cracks you up?
Yeah, to me, I don't think he's funny. But it's just I think he's more corny than anything, but I feel like his corniness is what cracks me up, So that's all
do you see it coming? when you kind of know, oh, here's a moment Garrison's going to kind of do his thing.
Yeah, every time I walk by him, I just try not to look at him because I just know he's gonna say something, yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Anybody else for Leaky? Art? Go ahead, Art.
Leaky, in looking at the film about Syracuse and how Buddy was covered or he wasn't covered, how did he end up with so many, for a guy who's like their best shooter and had 18 in the first half in Chapel Hill and 17 in the first half? What were the results of why he got so many good shots?
It's not finding him in the fast break. I feel like it was more fast break than anything. I felt like half court, I felt like we did a good job of, finding him. Is just when their teammates started penetrating and getting easy baskets, people started over helping, and he would relocate and they would just kick it out to him and it'd be too late. All he needs is an inch and is going up. And the guy who shoots at that rate, he's making way more than he's missing. So just did a bad job of finding him in transition. I felt like it was a mistake. I think the mic is muted.
Art, unmute yourself.
As far as not finding him and so forth, was there any talk about shadowing him or just not letting him get the ball? I mean, it seemed to me like he was their only consistent outside shooter.
Right. Yeah, like I said, in half-court offense, I feel like we did a good job of denying him and making him work for his shots, but it was just like in transition when they would get the ball, running from behind and, just playing catch up at that point. He's already in the corner while you're on the other end of the court. So it's too late at that point. The fast break points is where you hurt us the most.
Adam Smith?
Leaky, I'm wondering if there has been a point in the last month or a couple of weeks, maybe after you beat Duke the first time, after you blew out Louisville, after you played so well against Florida State, where you have said to yourself, you know what, we have finally turned the corner here. I mean, has there been a moment like that after one of your better games? This team has been so up and down. Has there been a moment like that where you're like, all right, we've finally gotten to where we need to be?
I think after the first Duke game is when I started really feeling it, and it was another game. I'm drawing a blank right now on which game it was, but it was a couple times where you're like, dang, like this team really be good. Like once we all, start playing. But we just feel like right now we're just so inconsistent, and it's what's hurting us.